Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Allie, and what started as a mini series has become the series. I am trying to become a sewist, and I'm very excited about today's video because we will be making a dreamy white Oxford shirt. Let me show you my mood board for this project. So I am in love with this Son de Fleur Clementine shirt. I'm obsessed with the Sonder House blouse. So this one is so romantic. I've been dreaming of this shirt ever since I saw it. And the middle shirt is a make from the pattern that I bought to do in today's video. The pattern is by Tobias Konrath. It comes recommended by other sewists. I love the oversized nature of it, and I love the pockets, but I don't plan to do the pockets. So here's my plan. I'm gonna follow the pattern for the short version. It's not short by any means, but it's just not the long one. And then I'm gonna cut out the collar, but I'm gonna self-draft a few collar options. So we're gonna try to mimic the Sonder House collar, that romantic, oversized ruffle. We're gonna try to do that. But then you see the photo in my mood board that's on the middle bottom, those brown buttons. I love that Ghani shirt, that feel. So because it's autumn, I'm gonna try to find some brown buttons. So we're gonna bring in some Sonder House vibes with the collar. That's the plan. I thrifted a organic cotton white sheet from Value Village, and hopefully it's not too see-through. She's right here. I've started ironing. I'll take you along for the ride. So me and Rosie went downtown and we bought some buttons, and I have to say they're perfect. So it's been a few days. I cut out all my pattern pieces. So one of my goals for this project was being precise with cutting and seam allowances and all of that. And I think it really, I felt the need to be precise after reading the instructions. Tobias, the maker of the pattern, was be as precise as possible. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's hard for me to cut patterns out accurately. So this time I did some research online. I'm okay, how can I get better at this? And some people are oh, you can trace it out. So I totally traced the pattern onto the fabric and then removed it and then cut it, which helped so much. Maybe someday I can just no problem. I feel the precision is there as far as cutting them out. And then the other thing for precision, so this pattern involves a placket. And I don't know how many plackets I've worn in my lifetime without knowing I'm wearing a placket, but I feel empowered knowing this is a placket I'm wearing. I feel that's exciting to learn the terminology of garments. And now is the time. So what I've started to do, this is where my desire for preciseness might come back to bite me. So I traced the pattern out with this friction removable ink pen. I have a lot of faith in this, but I feel it could go wrong. I was reading the instructions say, do not use on legal or official documents and examinations. If the pen is exposed to temperature that reaches 60 degrees Celsius, the ink will be colorless when writing. To restore color. Oh, okay, I misunderstood. I thought that if you put the ink, so the pen will become colorless, the ink in the pen. Now I'm I've confused myself further. So I thought if this is exposed to heat, it will go away, or friction, heat, it'll disappear. But I was but if you put this in the freezer, the lines will reappear. So I'm oh no, I won't be able to wear this in the cold winter, or all of my marks for my buttons and everything are gonna show on this shirt. And I still am kind of afraid of that. So, okay, I'm working on my placket, both sides. So I think I'm gonna put the buttons on the left side from what I can think of how I would button a shirt. Making these a crazy person. My seam allowances, my placket lines. So I'm gonna finish doing that, and then hopefully we can start sewing. What's really nice about this pattern is Tobias did a video tutorial, which I will be utilizing to just for some references. Okay, this is the placket pattern piece. This is what we're going off of. So I'm gonna do this is just front and right. I'm gonna add R to it, right and front. So I've already done my markings for the right side. So I'm just gonna take this one away. And then I'm going to do the left side. So the left is where I'm actually going to be putting the buttons, but it really shouldn't matter. Oh, that's why I had it this way. So I'm gonna do my markings here using this quilting ruler. I've already marked the second line. So just trying to line up everything, basically just connecting the dots. So sewing has become this like thing I really look forward to, because I just do it when Rosie is asleep. I stay at home with my daughter and it's like the best ever, but it's also really fun having like my own thing. But yeah, we have these little outings, like to get buttons and stuff. Okay, now everything is marked. I'm going to just like fold in my seam allowance, give it a press, and then I'm going to fold in the facing, what will become the facing, to the back of the placket. Or maybe this is all the placket. Anyway, all I know is I need to iron this. So I'm going to give this a press, that a press, and then I'm going to do an edge stitch. So I'm going to make all my lines disappear, like underneath. Oh, it totally did. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Did you see that? No, you can't see it. Okay, so I ironed this part and my lines that I used with the pen totally disappeared. So thankfully I have all of this, but good to know. As soon as the heat touches it, it's gone. Oh my goodness, it's kind of scary. Okay, so now to go by the line that still exists for now. Dun dun dun. Goodness, it's disappearing. That's really cool, but my goodness, kind of stressful. Gotta get it right, you know, like immediately. No mistakes. Maybe my pen, that pen works too well. I need like a malfunctioning pen. Scary. My disappearing lines. My goodness. So it's the next day. I was totally able to finish the stitching on one of my placket. I got a little close to the edge on part of it. Overall, I'm pretty happy. The one thing I'm struggling with is like the beginning and the end of my stitching, where you like have to reverse. I feel like it just like eats up the fabric, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's like a struggle. So I'm going to practice a little bit on, this is supposed to be the yoke piece, and you even cut two of them out on the fold, which I cut them out on the fold, but I cut them out on the wrong fold. So I'm going to be redoing these. So I thought I would just use this to practice getting the like beginning and end stitching right. So let me find like an edge that would make sense. That was better, but it did eat up a little bit, but I feel like I got in my head about it. I feel like it always unthreads at the same time. Okay, I feel like I'm not solving the problem. Maybe if I just, okay, one more trial run and then I'm gonna do the real deal. Okay, we'll see. I don't know if practicing my reverse stitches made that worse. Well, we sewed our second placket, and that's a win. I cut out my yoke pieces. They're over there. They're good. I cut them out correctly. And now I'm working on marking the back pleat, and then I'm going to pin it, and then it's like optional to sew it, to stitch it a little bit, to secure it, which I think I'm going to do. I'm just measuring this pleat on my pattern. I didn't mark it on here, but it's 2.5 centimeters wide. So I'm marking that and then doing mine. Never done a pleat before. We'll see how correct this is. Okay, I'm gonna mark it this way too. I'm just gonna do a little line because we know this disappearing ink actually disappears. It just flies right off the fabric when you iron it. Pretty impressive. It's like a non-sewing notion that you can use in sewing. And I got the recommendation from Carly B, and it was a great recommendation. Okay, so I'm gonna mark the middle line here. We're on to step 3, the yoke in the back. Take the 2 yoke pieces and the big back piece and make sure you have all the necessary part, or the other way around. Okay, so I did measure 2.5 centimeters on each side. So yeah, this would be 5 centimeters wide. You like cut the notches. So let me cut the notches. I'm gonna cut 3 notches here. And then we can like line them up, right? So I'm gonna cut a notch here, one in the middle, and one here. Okay, and then you fold the pleat, fix the pleat with a few stitches or pin it well in place. Okay, so you fold this in like this, pin it well in place. Oh, you must like do this, and they all line up, and then you can stitch that. So I'm gonna, wow, okay. So you like line up all these notches. That's really cool. I might just do something crazy and like run over there and just stitch it. Maybe I should press it first. I'm gonna press it first. Things will go better if I press it first. Okay, this is a good day. I just made a pleat, and that's like the best feeling ever. I have to show you. Like I stitched that, and I could press it better, but like I made a pleat. I'm so happy. Like I made a pleat. I made this. This is really exciting. Okay, so I made the pleat, and now I'm going to join the back to the yokes, the yoke in the back. So take the 2 yoke pieces. Look at this book. Okay, so like this, and the other one. So it's gonna be facing that. So it'll be like this on the other side. So we'll do this, this, like this. I'm gonna mark my 1 centimeter seam allowance so I don't mess that up. And then I'll pin it and then I'll sew it. So, and if I'm sewing, I'm gonna go, okay. So I'm gonna center these with the pleat. Let's make sure that is folded all the way down. And then we have this. We're gonna sandwich that. I'm gonna put the pleat right there in the middle. I hope I don't regret not putting pockets in, because I'm getting the impression that it's going to be quite oversized, which it totally says it's oversized. But I thought it would be like, you know, oversized, but if it's super oversized, you don't want like a super oversized collar. But maybe I could pull off something a little more simple, like the Ghani designer shirt. I know that's very aspirational of me, but maybe I'll have to do the Sonderhaus dramatic collar on a different Oxford shirt. But we'll see how it fits, and then we'll make those decisions later. Okay, from what I can tell, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so now I'm gonna mark my 1 centimeter seam allowance so I don't mess this up. I'll get my quilting ruler out for this. So I'm going kind of over the top, and I'm marking my 1 centimeter seam allowance because I don't trust my own judgment in sewing a perfectly 1 centimeter line on my machine yet. I think my brain will learn over time, like this is 1 centimeter. I'll be able to like make that judgment without a line. Maybe it won't, but that's my goal, is to be more accurate and precise, because that's what Tobias wants, okay? This isn't about me, this is about Tobias, okay? Not really. He just made the pattern and I want to make it. I want to become a better sewist, you know? Actually, I don't know if better sewist is like the thing. I just want to become a sewist. I want to be able to make a white Oxford shirt and make it right, you know? Okay, 1 centimeter. Let's mark this line. I'm gonna get as close as we can. Okay, now I'm gonna pin it and we'll sew it. I don't do it every time, but I definitely did it this time. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to try to just do it anyway. All right, we're gonna take this out. I'm gonna do this. Oh, I always forget my tomato. I feel like Rosie's gonna wake up any moment. So I'm gonna like risk my little hands' lives getting poked. And it says to reverse stitch, but I'm afraid to do that, so I'm not doing that either. I'm breaking some rules. See, why does it, I don't know why my needle like comes undone when I'm first starting to sew. And having that line there It's helping me so much. I'm just like following the line, working beautifully. Maybe got a little wonky when I went over the pleat, but I think everything's okay. I tried the reverse stitch. I feel like it just kind of like eats it up a little bit. So that's done. Let's see how it turned out. This is like the back of a shirt. Wow. Okay. Here's the lovely pleat. So I'm going to be pressing this really like tight, and then I'll put these together and then press this really tight. Okay, then it gets complicated. We're gonna do the burrito method soon, but we've definitely made some progress. I still can't believe I made a pleat. Makes me so happy. I'm gonna press. I'm gonna probably get Rosie up, and I'll reconvene tonight. I ironed my garment, and like I'm still on a high from making a pleat for the first time. So we're on step 4, where I'm gonna attach the yoke to the front side. Okay, I'm so glad I caught the fact that you weren't supposed to pin all 3 together. You're supposed to leave the yoke piece hanging. So redid that. I totally marked my seam allowance, but I don't think I'll see that now that I better understand what I'm supposed to do. Okay, I'm going to roll up the front and back. So tightly roll it. Back. That. Roll that up tightly. And then I'll be pinning this to these. So really, if I want my seam allowance, I should mark this one. I'll pin that and pin that. I'm just gonna pin all of this together and sew it, and then we're gonna have like a garment without the sleeve. I think I might regret not putting pockets on it, but what do you do? Okay, time to sew it together. Okay, so that is done. Then we're gonna do this side. We're gonna pull it through. Okay, time to pull it all out. Through the neck. I think it worked. Okay, that's cool. There you go. Okay, now the sleeves. Let's do the sleeves. Every sunrise feels like gold. So it's another day to sew. I don't know if I told you about the flat felled seam discovery, or like my discovery that I needed to do that, because I realized when attaching the sleeves, if I just did like a stitch and then a zigzag stitch, like the bulk would just be crazy with how it would like lay. So it's almost like a little addition of like, do this or a flat felled seam. So I looked up what a flat felled seam was, and I was like, okay, I can do this. So all my markings and pinnings of the sleeves previously, I had to redo it all. So yeah, I'm about to sew that. I love how like even this early on in trying to learn to sew, how different pattern makers like will throw in different techniques of doing things. It's just really cool to learn all these fun new things. Let's get sewing. And we're gonna have a shirt. It's gonna be big, bigger maybe than, more oversized than maybe I thought. And I'm not really a leggings girl unless I'm working out, like at a bar class or something like that. So I don't know if I'll wear leggings or if I'll just like embrace the bagginess and wear like some baggy jeans, like the ones I'm wearing. They don't look baggy right there, but they're baggy. So maybe I'll just like embrace the baggy. I don't know, we'll see. Let's get started. Ignore the other line, the one that I drew. So this is like 1 centimeter. I like marked it on this fabric, folded over 1 centimeter to sew like a hairline edge on this. Okay, the first size complete. Got a little rocky there in the middle, but I think it should work. And I've been doing successfully the reverse stitch. I think it was just in my head, you know, getting all nervous and affecting everything. Anyway, I'll see you when this is done. The flat felled seams are complete. I'm quite happy with them. They're not perfect, but they look pretty good. That was an exciting process to learn how to do that. Now I have like a new skill. So yes, these are my flat felled seams. Here and here. So the next step, French seams. I've never done this before. And it just sounds nice, you know, just like some French seams. So it's like supposed to be a nicer looking seam. So I think it's pretty straightforward. Basically, I'll pin it first. These sleeves look kind of short. Basically just like attaching the sleeves now, like making them sleeves. Hopefully it does line up pretty nicely. Okay, so I'll be sewing that together. So I'm gonna pin it, but then I need to sew it with a 1/2 centimeter seam allowance. Okay, so I'm gonna do all my markings and my pinnings and my sewings. I'll show you when I flip it inside out. Okay, it's time for a little project update. This has taken much longer than I anticipated, but that's okay because it has been so rewarding. So here's the changes. Like I have my mood board up here and it has all these like fancy ruffly collars on it. And that's a thing for the future. So I'm actually going to stay more pure to the pattern and how it was intended, because the main thing is it was advertised as oversized. I like knew that, but as I started to make the garment, it started to come together, I was like, oh, this is like quite oversized. So I don't think you can be this oversized and handle a big collar too. You know, there's like too many statement things going on. So what I decided to do is like go back to like step 1 or 2 and make pockets that are intended for it. And they're really cute. And it was really fun to put them together. So the shirt is here. I'm about to sew the pockets on the front. I measured them out, drew them out, cut them out, pressed them in the shape that they're supposed to be, pinned them on the shirt. And now I'm going to sew them on. I really do feel like I'm in the final step. So I just have to like attach the side seams. Of course, the buttonholes are going to take a while. I don't have the attachment for my sewing machine to make buttonholes on there. And I've been convinced by a tutorial online to hand sew them. So that's what I'm going to try. And then I'm going to do the regular collar that the pattern called for. And my interfacing is supposed to be showing up on our front porch this afternoon. So perfect timing. We'll see how much I can crank out before Rosie wakes up. And I just spilled my tea, but it's not that hot, so it's fine. My 6th garment, my first top, my first like thing with all of these pieces is coming together, and I'm so excited. Also, oh, you can't quite see it. In the corner of my screen, there was the fabric for the garment 7 I'm going to be making in the next video. I'm already like trying to use self-control to not start that project before finishing this one. Like, I'm obsessed. And it's amazing like how far I've come from garment 1. Like, I can't wait to get into my little sewing room and sew. I'm like, I just wish I had more time to do it. If you haven't started sewing, you totally should. And let's get going. Another story to be told. These are the days we'll remember, the moments we'll treasure. Things took a dark turn. More than one dark turn, actually. So I was so excited. And let me tell you, my first pocket, let me show you. My first pocket was like perfect. Like, not perfect, but like pretty much perfect. And I was like, wow, I'm getting so good at this. Look at those triangles, just like. So I did my first pocket. That went nicely. Second pocket. I was like, oh no. As I was going, I was like, I just sewed it shut, almost shut. I like caught myself before I finished it, but then it got worse. Like, not only did I sew almost to the end, I secured it to the shirt upside down. Upside down. So that was really sad. And then I went to finish my side seams. And there's no other word for it except for gnarly. Like, go and find my child's Halloween candy. She's 2. She doesn't eat Halloween candy. And eat like 3 mini Snickers because I needed comfort. Type of gnarly. Like, okay, I realized my mistake of like, I should have pinned, when I was pinning the French seam portion of my sleeve, I should have continued pinning down the side seam. Did I? No. I did not have the foresight for that, even though the illustration was clear to do that. I was like, I'm just going to focus on this, not worry about that till I get to it. But this is how we learn, right? So that's really the only word I can come up with to how my sleeve is attaching to the side seam. Gnarly, like not in a cool way, but in like a, ugh, yikes kind of way. Like that is not pretty. So in my mind, I was like, I'm going to be wearing this shirt. Also, another reason I went with pockets is because this material is definitely more see-through than I would like. And this kind of would help with, you know, less see-throughness in the important places, at least. So a lot of disappointing things have happened, but I'm trying to make the most of it. And even if I don't like proudly, I hope I can still wear this shirt where it's not like embarrassingly bad. But I think one thing I'm gonna have to do is unpick the whole pocket, and hopefully there's not like too many holes where it's super obvious. Maybe I'll just make a new outside pocket. I don't know, but something has to be done because it's literally upside down. So if you're like to look at this shirt, speaking of, there's like stains on this sweatshirt. This is like my grunge sweatshirt. It got cold, okay. So I'm gonna have to unpick that, but I'm trying to be positive and I'm going to finish my other side seam and carry on with as much of the project as I can. I don't think my interfacing has come, but I'm not to my collar yet anyway, so it's gonna take a little more time to finish this. But I will say, like, the thought of starting this project again, I'm like, I could do this confidently and I know I would make less mistakes. At least I hope I would. But I would be excited to try it again. And just like paying closer attention to like when I'm putting the pocket on. I think it would have helped also if I had done it in the correct order. So you're supposed to like attach it to the front parts of the shirt before you attach anything else. So that would help because there's not like so much fabric to move around and get confused by. Let's attach this and make one more French seam. And we'll go from there. This is expected, right? Every project has its highs and lows, and this is just a low. Okay, it's the same day, but it's a little bit later. It's evening time, and our crisis has been averted. I'm out of like panic disappointment mode. I mean, I'm still not super happy with the side seams of this garment, but I got rid of the pocket that I had sewn upside down and tried to close the top off, which was the bottom. You get it. But it was fine. I just took the stitches out. There's a lot of holes, so maybe it won't be the most sturdy garment, but I constructed a new pocket, so I'm going to sew that on and we're going to keep on going. I'm feeling optimistic about this evening's work session. My interfacing came this afternoon, so I'll get to use this for the first time. So it's a good day. I mean, it's looking up. Even like I whipped up that pocket so quickly because I'd already done it and it was familiar. So I could totally make this pattern again, I'm pretty sure. And maybe in like a white and brown stripe. Now is the time to focus on what is at hand because we got to finish garment 6. We have a shirt. Okay, I didn't film the final construction of this shirt, but let me tell you what I did. So I did the seams, the bottom of the sleeves, which I learned like you just have one go at it and I just need more practice on it. It's fine. They're fine. As long as people don't look too closely, they'll be like, what's wrong with your shirt? No, I'm really proud of this. I'm really excited that it's done and that I did it. So I did that. I attached the collar as prescribed in the pattern. I did the buttonholes, obviously. I did those by hand. I don't know that I would recommend it. Like, it took me forever. I mean, I say that I've never done machine-made buttonholes. Maybe stay tuned to see what the comparison is. Anyway, buttonholes were made. Also, I thought I counted the correct amount of buttons to buy, but I didn't. I kept counting 6 and I needed 7 for this pattern. So don't make that same mistake. Get 7 buttons. But it worked out because I had this button which is slightly different than these, but I think I like it better, that it's a little bit different. It adds a little more character. It's nice. Okay, so then yeah, I attach this. I attach my buttons. Also, obviously, that was an adventure. I've never done that before. And then I made a tag, which I absolutely love. Let me just talk about the tag. Okay, so I made this tag. Let me show it to you. And it's actually less legible than my previous tags. And it's a little more messy, which I just need to practice some embroidery techniques, stitches, and get a little better at that, have more of a plan. I just kind of like tend to wing it. But what I love about this, so like the pattern, this shirt is called the Minimalist. So I put the Minimalist, but then I put 06 because this is my 6th garment, because I think I'll just love having that later. So I'm going to start numbering them just for fun. Next, let me tell you my mistakes I made so that you can avoid, if you're going to make the same pattern. As a beginner sewist, you don't have to make the same mistakes. Okay, let me just show you my imperfections, I should say. So like the collar, like paying good attention to when you're sewing the collar. So like one side looks really good. You can't see that, it's like blown out. Okay, so this side looks good. This side is a little questionable. But I didn't quite realize how, like as I was doing it, how prominent that would be. So that's something that I would be a little more careful with next time. Oh, and then the pockets, I sewed up here, this little like line. It should be here. And I think that would look better. So I did that on both sides. And so that's something I would change for the future. Like I said, the button number. Let me show you one of my buttonholes. So this is what it looks like if you're inexperienced like me and you try to do them all by hand. Like, I feel like it could be worse, but it could certainly be better. I mean, overall, I thought this pattern as a self-taught beginner sewist was very doable, very understandable. The instructions were super thorough. Thank you to Tobias. And I think the biggest thing is it was so rewarding, this project. I learned to do so many new techniques, but they weren't overwhelming. It was like, okay, I can do this. And the thought of making this again is really exciting. And I think that's like the best part about buying a pattern is you have it forever and you can redo it. Whereas like you buy an article of clothing and it's just like one and done, like making it better suited to your needs, your life. And there's several pattern hacks within this pattern that I'm excited to get into. Oh yeah, another biggie. Let me like go back to my mistakes. I mentioned this throughout the process, but my French seams that start, on the sleeve and go down the side seam, this part in the armpit looks really bad. So the big thing there on both sides, it just like looks rough. The big thing there is like pinning all the way down. Like when you're pinning the arms, pin the side seam as well so that it all flows together and you don't end up with like a gnarly mess like I did. Okay, and I've been on a no buy year. I'll mention that more in future videos, but I haven't been buying clothing since January of this year, 2025. I broke it twice. So I think I might have to start over in June. I broke it once in like March and once in June. And so I really want to go the full year because it's been invaluable, like not buying any clothing and having this like drive and desire to make my own clothing, like the two go hand in hand. Anyway, as I have not been buying clothing, so I haven't had like new clothes to wear in a very long time, I'm really excited to actually have a garment to wear. So that brings me to, I have not tried this on yet. So I'm going to go try this on. I'm going to show you and we'll see how it fits. It's definitely oversized. I'm just going to try it with these jeans and we're going to see what happens. Like, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen? I mean, I can always like tuck it in, right? Like, we'll see. BRB. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm impressed. I was a little afraid to try this on because I thought it was just going to be like an awkward fit. It was going to be so oversized. It looked terrible. I was unsure about the arm length, but can we just like take this in for a second? I don't know if it translates like on camera, but this shirt is cute. The arm length is perfect. I love the shape going on down here. It actually falls at, like, it's not that oversized. Like, yes, I could tuck it in. I actually quite like it. And then it's not that see-through. It's like good to go. I feel like it has some really nice finishes on it. Like, I love how thick this part is. I love the dropped shoulders, the like flat felled seams, the pockets. I'm glad. I kind of like second guessed my choice on brown buttons. I was like, should I just put white? And I wouldn't have been wrong to put white, but I really love the contrast and like it gives it a little something. But I'm really glad I added pockets. I'm really happy with this project. I could even like button this if I wanted. Actually, let me do that. Yeah, I could totally button that and it would be great. Like, look how cute she is. I'll try not to like flap my arms around because of the gnarliness there, but wow. Okay, and the fact that I made it out of like thrifted organic cotton sheets, it's like the softest garment ever. Like, it feels so good. I can't feel the tag at all because it's really soft, very subtle. She's beautiful. I love it. I'm so happy. And I will definitely be wearing this and making more of them. So if you've thought about, if you're a beginner sewist, if you want to become a sewist, this is such a great pattern and it's so rewarding. I'm really, really pleased. And I can't wait to like accessorize it. Let me put my watch on. Oh, it looks so good. You know? And a little scarf possibly. So no, I didn't accomplish some of the specifics on here that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. Thanks so much for watching. If you've made it this far, that's incredible. Let's sew again together really soon. Bye.